Hi, this is Michael Merz from Ponton. Can you imagine how the power grids will look like in 20 years' time when we have hundreds of gigawatt of renewable productions and 10 to 20 million electric vehicles? It will be very difficult to strengthen the power grids in such a way that this volatile production and consumption are met in such a way that there are no congestions in the grid. What would help here is a market design for energy trading which anticipates already congestions at the point of trading before the delivery of power. Stay with me and I will explain to you this market design of grid supportive trading. Okay, let's start. Grid supportive trading, why do we need that? It's a market design which is rather revolutionary than evolutionary. There are a lot of existing market designs and additions to that which add some little parts and pieces. But if we look at the situation that we can expect for the year 2030 or 2040, we will have a dramatically changed situation, and in my opinion we need to consider this as a completely separated world B, which requires a dedicated way of designing the market. But that is not enough. The market also needs to be tightly integrated with the grid operation in order to avoid congestions. So if we look at the market designs that exist already, there are many over the past 5 years, and this is even before the energy crisis came up in 2022. These are all extensions and additions in a way. Yeah? What we are looking at now is something completely different. What we are looking at is finding out how the situation is in 20 years' time and then tailoring a market design for that demand, which leads to the challenge to achieve that over time, over the next 20 years. But hey, that's a secondary task. Let's first design the market. So we have another market design, and how does the future look like? You find a lot of videos on this on YouTube and in some research papers and prognoses. I don't need to go deep here. Fact is that it can be expected for 2030 that we have 300 to 400 gigawatt peak production, renewable production. This is 3 to 4 times more than the production peak in 2020. The number of electric vehicles grows to probably much more than 10 million euros in this time. Energy trading, which is today basically long-term trading and then adjusting a little bit the production and consumption based on weather conditions on the spot market, will be turned upside down. Yeah? If we have a vast of capacity, and I haven't written that in here, but if we have also the storage for this extra production, then we have a situation where always energy is available in the short term, and probably we don't need the forward market anymore at 90% of the volume, maybe 10 or 20% in the very long run. So the main playground where trading takes place is spot trading in the short term. Congestions, as we see them today, they are at the horizontal level, yeah, between North Germany and South Germany. In the north, there's the production, and south, there's the industrial consumption. And in that sense, this is fine, and this can be addressed by breaking down the bidding zone, which spans across entire Germany today, into 2 or 3 or 4 smaller bidding zones. But after all, this breakdown in bidding zones doesn't really help to address vertical congestions, which are in the distribution grids and which are directly connected to charging up electric vehicles and to the local production of renewable energy. So that is actually the key problem we need to address. So in that sense, today, forward trading is the main playground for trading, and be it OTC or be it on exchanges as futures trading, it's the 90%, and the rest is spot, which again can be broken down into day-ahead trading and intraday trading, and then beside that there is a balancing market to let the TSOs keep the frequency at 50 Hertz, and a redispatch market which hasn't really started yet, but the target of the redispatch market is to avoid congestions, because trading here on the spot market and also here on the long-term market doesn't really address restrictions of the grid. We have a copper plate assumption. So this is the only reason why we need a redispatch market, because we don't know what we do in the earlier phases of trading. If we could know this, and if we could be incentivized or disincentivized in this earlier phase, then the redispatch, the necessity for redispatch would be much lower. Okay, then there are energy communities. I don't want to talk about that. That's a separate topic, and there are problems. So we have potential for gaming just by acting on two different markets, and which will end in insider trading behavior. And then, as I said, in some cases, the trading and the market transactions are not always grid supportive. They increase congestions, and wherever there is a yellow flash, this applies to that market segment. Yeah, and on that future market, everything is integrated. We don't differentiate between spot trading market, a balancing market, a redispatch market, and possibly even energy community markets. It's just one market with one increased liquidity, so that if I participate in this market as a producer or consumer or prosumer, I sell or buy flexibility. So I am an FSP, a flexibility service provider, and I could trade with other FSPs. So as if I would trade on the spot market today, or my counterparty could be a TSO. Who requires me increasing my production in order to keep the frequency at 50 Hertz. Or it could be a DSO who is looking for redispatch services, and I sell my kilowatt hours to the DSO. This could also be the case. So everyone is a market participant, and everything is driven by one market price. Of course, then the TSO competes with the DSO, and they both compete with other market participants / FSPs. But why not doing so if there is enough energy available? If it is not directly available from producers, it's available from storage devices. The question is this zonal or nodal? A zonal pricing system means that we have exactly the same price across an entire bidding zone, so for Germany-wide. Or is it nodal, which means that for a certain grid location, there is an individual price. Because there is a lot of PV production, and for that reason it makes sense to have a dedicated price there, which is quite low, of course, when the sun shines, and high when at night. The answer is both are not flexible enough. It absolutely makes sense to have a zonal pricing if there is no congestion. Then everyone pays exactly the same. There is no incentivation needed to direct the flow of power. But if there is a congestion, then a local characteristic of pricing kicks in. And we also need to address that the fact that a congestion has a direction. So if a delivery is from A to B, and the flow goes from A to B, and also the congestion has a direction from A to B, then it should be disincentivized to do this. It should be incentivized to deliver in the opposite direction, to mitigate the congestion and increase the available capacity again. In that sense, we will see how this market design will cope with zonal versus nodal pricing and come up with a third solution. The idea is here to address congestions already when trading by adjusting the prices that traders or market participants see and to disincentivate those trades, those transactions which lead to a flow that increases congestions and vice versa. For that reason, I call it route-based pricing, as it is zonal at the beginning, but when congestions come up, there's a different price if the delivery is from A to B than in the opposite direction. We use price weights for the incentivation. We possibly don't require redispatch anymore because redispatch takes already place during the trading phase by not entering into a transaction, which would harm the grid, and probably also gaming is reduced because we only have one market. So insider trading, which stems from the knowledge of two separated markets, is not possible anymore. Let's quickly go through some situations how we can use price weights to incentivize participants. So we use a simplified grid model here with 4 voltage levels and hierarchical grid areas. Each of these grid area at the highest level corresponds to a DSO area. Here we have some scattered, producers and consumers scattered across this landscape. Asking or bidding at various different prices. And our today's situation with zonal pricing can just be modeled by price weights of 0. Yeah? Everyone can deliver to everyone without any disincentivation or without any price weights. We could also replace this by a price weight. So in this case 10, which means 10 euro per megawatt hour. And that leads to an incentive to act locally, to supply power from a local producer to a local consumer, like these two here, for example. No one really keeps us from delivering across a long haul route, but it's getting more and more expensive the farther the two transaction partners are away from each other. For example, this one here on the right side, who offers at 20 euro, which is very low, and here we have the demand side at 60 euro. That would work, because we have 4 hops at 10 euro between them. So the price weight is 40. So this would receive 20 euro. The consumer would pay 60 euro and 40 euro would be kept by the market operator. Of course, this is not to make the market operator rich. Of course, this needs to be balanced and need to be paid out again in form of incentivations if others help avoiding or reducing congestions. And it is again also a challenge, of course, to find a mechanism to balance this so that the market operator ends up with zero with regards to these incentivation or disincentivation fees. Yeah. What we also could do is raise some of these price weights to even more incentivate local trading. This corresponds a little bit to what is done in Austria. Here in Austria, we don't use incentivations for trading, but reduced grid usage fees for renewable energy communities. Yeah? So if an energy community is within this area here, their grid usage fee is reduced by 2/3. So instead of, say, €8, they pay only a bit more than 8 cents, euro cents. They pay only a bit more than 2 cents per kilowatt hour that is traded here. If, of course, the transaction goes beyond this border, then it's getting more expensive. What is added here is another element, which is a congestion. Yeah? So whenever the flow of a transaction goes alongside the congestion, the operator charges €40 here. If it goes in the opposite direction and relaxes the congestion, the market participants pay €20 less. So by applying this, which will dynamically appear and which will at the beginning appear with small amounts, and then as the available capacity gets reduced, it will increase the prices. And by doing so, from a certain point in time on, it is absolutely disincentivized to deliver alongside the congestion. Others need to play a role then, but no one here down in this grid area, like this producer here on the lower left side, would make sense really to supply to a consumer here above the congestion or on the right side. So, just as an example again, we have this situation here, just to show how high the disincentivation weight exactly is. If market participant number 1 delivers to market participant number 10, it goes alongside 6 hops plus the congestion fee of €40. Giving all in all €100 price weight, yeah, which probably makes both participants abstain from this transaction. The opposite direction, if we look at it, so for example, if a delivery is from grid area 2.1 to grid area 1.1, is also 60, so it's the same length in terms of hops and price weights, but because we have this incentivation of -30 here, it goes down to 30, which is okay, which is low as a disincentivation fee. So the long-term effect is, of course, that there will be more producers here on the right side and more consumers on the left side in order to balance the situation over time. By the way, this incentivation matrix here, this table, is based on the congestion forecasts coming from the grid operators. So, how does a platform look like in this supporting this market design? First, we again start with those who have the knowledge about the congestions. So the TSOs and DSOs provide their congestion forecast to the congestion management platform. Here, on a frequent basis, this incentivation matrix is calculated and downloaded to platforms, to market platforms. And whenever market participants submit an order, in this case we have 3 buy orders, and a match is going to happen, this price weight is included in the calculation. So here we have 3 orders. All are willing to pay 60 euro, but they come from different locations, 1.1, 2.1 and 1.2. And on the vis-a-vis market participant number 1, the prices look differently, yeah, because the incentivation matrix was applied. And for market participant number 1, who is willing to produce at 45 euro per megawatt hour and who sits in location 1.1, one of these buy orders are attractive. Yeah, so there is a match because we have the same price, 45 euro on the buy side and on the sell side, which leads at the end to an execution of the buyer paying 60 euro, the seller getting 45 euro, and then there's a difference of 15 euro, which is the fee. To achieve this, what can we do? Or what does it mean if we want to achieve this? First, it is an incentive system which helps to allocate assets in the proper grid location. Yeah, move consumers to where the production is and vice versa. Second, we don't need redispatch anymore, at least not in the volume as it is expected today, because there is a feedback loop with regards to congestions and price weights, which automatically help avoid congestions as they come up by disincentivating certain transactions. Third, if we integrate the markets which are separated today, I expect that the higher market liquidity that we see helps because we have still a better price transparency, although the prices are biased to the different market participants, but they are biased because of the grid supportive characteristic of this. And then gaming is avoided because we integrated everything into one market. And of course, gaming also goes along with the market liquidity. If there's less market liquidity, of course, there is more monopolistic behavior possible than if we have a high market liquidity. Of course, if we look 20 years into the future, I think we can assume that there is a higher market liquidity because of more participants, even in smaller grid areas. And then, of course, as a consequence out of the optimized asset allocation, there's also a higher level of resilience because production and consumption will match better than it's the case today. And root-based pricing, I think this is clear now. It's not because of the direction of a congestion. Zonal doesn't really help here, nodal doesn't really help here. Root-based pricing addresses the fact that congestions have a direction. We will discuss all this on our conference, and if you see this video prior to the conference, come back to me if you have a grid operation background or a market background. And this is exactly what we do. We bring together people from both sides, and we would like to discuss exactly this, to find out what needs to be improved, what needs to be better understood, and what is the next step. Apropos next step, the status of research is that I've spoken to many people with very different roles, market operators, market participants, energy traders, yeah, associations, other roles in the room, and the feedback is usually yes, makes sense, but it's a huge step, and how to get there, and probably rather 2050 than 2030. Yeah, but if we don't go this route, if we don't start this, we will never reach the end and this market design. So let's just start, and the first step could be to refine this, to simulate this, and to find out by quantifying the simulation results and compare that to the classic system using the same parameters. Which optimization potential we can reach by applying the grid supportive market design. As said, if it is still in time, just come back to me with regards to the conference. Come back to me if you have questions or ideas or proposals. I'm happy to discuss that. I'm happy to push forward this idea. Because I think we should think things from the back end, yeah, so from the future, and then design bridges from today's world A to world B in order to have a smooth transition. But in my opinion, it's very difficult to really nitty-gritty improve in little steps the current system, because the development outside is much faster than the way how this improvement could really work. Thank you for listening. I hope this was interesting. Obviously, you stayed with me for this long time, and I'm happy to produce another video once we have gained more insight and a larger group interested in this topic. All right. Thank you. Bye bye.